And we're live.
Hey everyone, welcome to Feelings with the Geekiary. I am Erin. I'm here with Vaughn.
Yay!
And we're joined by Tara and the Geekyary's admin, Angel, aka the best boss ever. We're fans. We have feelings. This is where we webcast about them. And welcome to our pre-SDCC webcast.
SDCC, that's Comic-Con for people who are not cool, you know. If you don't understand that.
If you don't get that acronym, you're kicked out of the club. Kick off the island. We're on an island. They're not.
Yeah, we're literally
that makes more sense to us.
I guess everything counts as an island if you think big enough.
Yeah.
True.
So obviously we're starting to converge. We're starting to converge. So there's two of us here together. There's two of them there together. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm in Hawaii, so that's a thing that has happened.
I'm excited to have someone here that I know. I've lived here a year and a half, and this is the first time someone's visited me. So thank you.
It's been fun. So I've done a lot of things.
Y'all should come visit me then.
Oh man, we want to. We want to. Hawaii sounds excellent.
It is. It is. It is.
I guess I just want to say that a friendly reminder that this is also a podcast, so please just subscribe to us on iTunes so that you don't miss any of our feelings. And if you're listening to this as a podcast, please remember that this is recorded live. So we're not exactly sure what's going to happen, so forgive us any technical difficulties or accidental swears, which there might be a lot of tonight because there's... Cheers. All right. Also, you can join the conversation with the hashtag SDCC feelings. So come on and tell us when we're wrong or you think we're stupid or something. I don't know.
Find out later, like usual. All right. Tara, you are all over the disclaimer, so go for it.
Oh, yay. We'd like to remind all of you that the views expressed in this webcast are those of the hosts as individuals and do not necessarily represent the Geekiary or the webcast itself as a whole. Please, please, please remember that. And if you have an issue with something that one of us says, just remember which one it was. And then we'll get in trouble individually.
Our Twitter handles are under there. You can tweet us directly. Just, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because run the Geekiary Twitter account. So if we all see it in the mentions, it's like, all right.
Okay, so we mentioned that we're starting to converge. So Tara and Angel are live in Hawaii, Honolulu, yeah, and
Waikiki specifically.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I don't obviously.
Yeah.
And we
had a pretty fun day. Should we talk about that? Okay. Well, yeah. So we've been doing some stuff out here. Went out to Koala Ranch today. We were on a webcast this morning, but we had to cut it short because we had a tour at a ranch that was actually. It had sets from Jurassic Park and Lost and all sorts of movies like that, and she cosplayed to it, which was pretty awesome. We tweeted some pictures from the official account.
I'm still sort of wearing the cosplay. I'm wearing the shirt and the shorts still. I took off the rest of it because it's hot as hell here.
You can tell a geek goes to Hawaiian cosplays.
Yeah, I like the pony. Yeah. It's good. The hair is not perfect.
I thought
what have you guys been up to? When did you guys arrive?
We haven't really. I've played dolls a lot for the last 2 days. We've been hanging out with Erin's family. I was in LA for a couple of days, and then I met up with Erin, which was awesome. And then I've been playing dolls with her, I guess nieces and
they're nieces? My little cousins.
Yeah.
Aww.
They're really cute. But, we're going to Disneyland tomorrow. So
you should tweet some geeky stuff like we did today. Tweet some geeky things.
Oh yeah, we will be live tweeting the S word out of our day.
You're writing the Haunted Mansion 75 times.
Well, okay. No.
Oh. What about Pirates of the Caribbean?
That's like 50 times.
Yeah, we will also be visiting Captain America.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I'm officially jealous. I grew up at Disneyland, but it was before Marvel entered the Disney equation, so I didn't get, all
Captain
that.
America,
all that
adorable, like cosplay Captain America, who's like doll. And you're like,
Oh my god. Oh, jeez.
all right, so I think that Angel should take the next part.
Oh yeah, so we've got some other news. I want to talk about this because it's both related to our convention and also just general stuff we're doing on the website. We released a book a couple months ago called Fandom Frontlines, The Effect of Geek Culture on Our Everyday Lives. A lot of us contributed to that. It's $2.99 on Amazon right now. And we've already started planning our next one, which I think all of us plan on writing stuff for it. And it's going to be specifically convention focused. So that should be fun. Who all here wrote for the last book?
I did.
You did. You didn't, but you're going to be writing for the next one, right, Erin?
Oh, and she she proofread the whole thing.
Yeah.
She played it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to stay out of like the hardcore fandom mostly. I guess I don't really try. I just haven't really fallen into it. So, but I'm much more attuned to the convention thing. So.
Yeah, I'm excited. I feel like I have a lot more to write about for a book that's like completely convention focused.
Yeah.
I kind of like the article I wrote for the first book was about like cosplay, so it would have actually fit really well in the second book. Probably, possibly even better because I think it was like the only cosplay article in the first one. But I've got several ideas for the second one. I mean, I grew my own convention with the help of a couple of friends, so that's obviously we've talked about Ice and FireCon quite a bit. So yeah, I can at least write about that. That's one thing.
Yeah.
But I've got a couple other ideas too.
Yeah, I mean, I like our first book was kind of us figuring out how to publish. Like I wrote an article about being involved in Misha fandom and how that's changed my life. And then I also wrote kind of an article that focused on some of the negative aspects of fan culture as well. So I kind of covered both sides of it. You wrote the cosplay article. Fawn, what did you write for that last book?
Oh, I wrote about shipping and being a proud shipper and how I learned to be a proud shipper after being shipped for so long because everyone was like, go back home to like romance novels or whatever. Go back to high school, like little girl. And I'm like, you know what? I really care about those two people and I want them to do things that are for adult audience.
Do things. Yes.
It really is. I mean,
I love it.
We get so invested in these characters and it's natural to, start coupling them and putting them together.
Plus the fact that like as girls, we're taught from such a young age that romance is the be all end all. Like we're Disney movies, everything we see is like you have to meet this person and fall in love and that is your ultimate pinnacle. And then they make us watch this stuff and they're like, actually don't focus on the romance. That's lame.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that was a great book, and I'm really proud of all the writers that contributed to it. For the next one, I'm going to be writing specifically about San Diego Comic-Con because it's so massive, and people, I feel like it's unlike any other convention in the world. It's really hard to get to, and there's a lot to know, and people don't realize that stumbling into it. So I'm going to write an article kind of focused on that. What all you going to write?
I think that I have a couple that I want to focus on. One is how social media has changed the con experience. I am fairly new to the convention scene, so obviously I take to Twitter a lot. I'm kind of a Twitter vet, and I like to consult Twitter a lot. And I also want to do a little feature about kids who con. I think that kids who show up at cons, especially in cosplay, are just adorable, and they're the next generation of geeks. So I want to know their thought process and why they like going to con, why they like dressing up. So And I guess I'm starting to like children. I don't know.
Good
Don't
luck
get
with
Yeah.
I am like okay with like my nieces and nephews and strange children as long as they're not touching me or screaming are fine.
That's how I feel. Like if I have a direct relationship to them, we're all good. But
Yeah.
others, you know,
And again, strange as long as they're not touching me or screaming, they're fine. We had a screamer at Pearl Harbor on
Oh
Friday.
my
It was
god,
bad.
yeah. Screaming in line, screaming in our ears, screaming in the theater during a super serious film about Pearl Harbor. Just anyway, now we're complaining about children. I'm pretty sure that's not the topic we're supposed to be talking about.
we don't discriminate if you have children or are a child.
We're all
Love
childless. We are all childless heathens.
That's why we do this webcast. We have a lot of time.
We're bad people. Remember, the views expressed on this program are those of us as individuals and do not represent the Geekiary as a whole.
So we've talked about our first book. Like Angel said, it's $2.99 on Amazon.com, and it's there's several other people from the website who contributed to it. So if you're really interested in like fandom culture, I think it's a cool thing to read for $3 on your Kindle or iPad or whatever, because you can get the Kindle app for basically any smartphone or iPad, and then. So did everybody get in what they wanted, what they're going to write about in the second book? Because I mean,
I just,
like
I'm
I said, for
writing
me, it's
about
mostly like
cons in Australia. So
Yeah, that's a whole nother world. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to that.
it's very different.
I know one of my friends mentioned like the possibility of moving to Australia, and she's like, yeah, you know, like I would have to give up like most of my conventions here in the States, but like I just, you know, and there's cons over there, but it's not the same. I was like, I've heard it's not.
Yeah.
Hey, no, it's the cons here have their positives that are different to the cons that you guys have here, but it's just different.
Yeah, I know of the Supernova ones
Yeah.
and the All Hell Breaks Loose, which is the Supernatural one, but I don't think it has like Jared or Jensen or even Misha. But
No,
I mean, it's still
they
cool.
usually come out.
Does it?
Yeah.
One of the ones doesn't have the main guy. Like maybe it was one of the ones in Brazil, but yeah, those are the ones I know about. What other cons are there in Australia?
Well, the most recent one that started up is Oz Comic Con, which is kind of like Comic Con, which is actually a lot better than Supernova. Like Supernova has been kind of the only con that's been around for so long that it's kind of it, but it doesn't really have that convention culture. It's not particularly well run.
Cracking open a cold one.
But you know, I will talk about this more in the article, obviously.
Sorry, that was too easy.
No, that was good. Yeah.
Sure, for sure. Press passes, though. We love you. Well, I think we also have an elephant in the room right now, because if you all notice, we're all in hotels right now, which means we're all on the road. Well, except for me, I live here, but not in this hotel room. But I live like about a mile that way.
Hey, you've traveled.
I did. I traveled a mile to be in this hotel room. But we're all traveling for Comic-Con. So we're going to have the webcast on preview nights, 5 o'clock Pacific time on preview night. And we're going to go over everything that we're going to do today. So it's going to basically be like this, blah, 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 blah. But before we get to that, what are you guys most excited about? Because it's a huge weekend with lots happening, but we kind of all have something we're looking forward to most.
Tom Hiddleston.
Excuse me. If by any chance anyone that knows Tom Hiddleston is listening or watching this, just put her picture somewhere.
Thank you.
To know that if she gets anywhere near him, run.
No. I'm cool. I'm mellow.
I think you're cool and mellow, except when it comes to Tom Hiddleston.
You might be right.
Harsh is your mellow.
Yeah. Okay. But seriously, like when I found out a couple days ago that he's confirmed to come this year, I was very excited. So yay, Tom Hiddleston. Team Hiddleston.
What about you, Vaughn?
I have no
What are
idea.
you looking forward to?
To be honest, I
I'm
like.
with you.
I have like this is my first Comic-Con, and this is like my first massive big convention in America. So this is going to be an interesting experience for me, I think.
It's fun.
I'm
Yeah,
hoping to write like an article at the end of it about like what it's like coming as an outsider into this environment.
That'll be good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did last year. I wrote like a cosplayer's perspective of Comic-Con. Note, not cosplaying at Comic-Con this year. So there's
Cosplayed in
that.
Hawaii instead.
But yeah, like for me, like Comic-Con is a thing that happens, and it happens, and I'm sure
You're
something
gonna have
cool.
a lot of fun this year.
There were cool things that happened while I was there last year, and I don't doubt that I'm going to have fun this year. I'm just like, I'm really kind of chill about it at this point. There were a couple of press rooms I was really hoping to get into some other one them, but like I didn't get into probably because they're super, super like hard to get into. But yeah, so we'll see. But cool things always happen. And like last year, the coolest thing that happened, I didn't know what was going to happen until the week of Comic-Con, which is like I ended up getting to be like pressed for this thing with Greg Nicotero and Norman Reedus and George R.R. Martin, and like, you know, got a selfie with Norman Reedus, and George R.R. Martin handed me a faceless man coin. So
while you were dressed as Cersei, which is like amazing.
So and I didn't know that was going to happen until literally the week of Comic-Con. So the fact that like there's still some things hanging out there that I haven't found out about, I'm okay with.
Yeah. Well, for me, like right now, I'm all about Save Hannibal. Like, you know. So for me, the thing I'm looking forward to most is that panel, and I really don't want to say it's going to be the last one. I don't want to treat it like a wake. I want to treat it like a celebration and something that's going to launch it onto something else, something new. And for anyone who's watching this, who's going to be at the convention on the night before the panel, so on Friday night at 7 p.m. at the Grand Hyatt, the Manchester Grand Hyatt, in this room called the Cortez Room, a bunch of fanboys are going to converge and get some materials, some attire. For those fanboys, you can probably guess what we're wearing. You know, we do the thing.
I know the flower. I know the flower.
And then on those things for the panel, and it's going to be a big like flash mob during the panel. I mean, not a mob. That's a bad word to use. Comic-Con, we're not going to do anything bad, but we're all going to, you know, celebrate.
No, a flash mob is a fun thing.
It is.
These incognito like things, and
yeah, so we're planning, and I want to promote that because right now, like, I've been pushing for that really hard. Like, I almost want to apologize for taking control of the Geekiary account so much for Save Hannibal, but at the same time,
you know what?
Like,
I've been.
I think there's several of you guys that are fans.
I've been looking back through my timeline, and I've actually tweeted a lot about Hannibal and Save Hannibal myself. So I'm totally right there with you. Let's do the flash mob.
Where we talked about this in the last episode of Feelings, which you can check on the YouTube channel or at the Geekiary website, or you can download it at iTunes. And we are 100% behind you. We love that you were so passionate about it, and it's just great.
Thank you.
Because Hannibal truly is art. It's art on TV.
It is. And this kind of segues into actually, because, you know, we do the news here about everything that's happening and then into the discussion, because I want to talk about Save Hannibal too. It's like an actual discussion here. Anyone want to say anything else about Comic-Con before we launch into this? Because
I think we have plenty that we're going to need to say on Wednesday.
Very true.
So.
Very true. But yeah, like, I am very motivated to keep Hannibal going, because right now that is my absolute favorite show on TV, like, bar none. Like, nothing else I watch even comes close. It is truly art. It is one of the most visually compelling things I've ever seen on TV, period. Like, more visually beautiful than anything I've seen on, like, the really pricey cable channels like HBO or Showtime. The writing is just really, like, bold. that doesn't go, which is what a lot of people think of, but as in like the character dynamics too. And yes, I'm skimming on the shipping topic, but let's be real, that is there, and they don't like skip around, drop words like love into it, and it's like, wow, like shows more like careful about that type of thing, and they're just like, nah. let's go there and let's talk about this because fans are talking about it, and I want to save this show really bad. Like, come on, guys, let's do this.
Yeah, we actually talked about this last night. Yeah. We stopped at the bar and had a little cocktail, but we were talking about Hannibal. And, you know, this, for those of you who have seen this, this most recent episode aired last Thursday, that last scene, I won't spoil it too much, but that last scene where one character is just beating the crap out of the other character was just stunning.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
It was amazing. Like the choreography was just, and you could like feel the tension and the emotions and passion. It was really, really intense. And you mentioned like that for such it's a show about murder and cannibalism, but they don't show violence very much.
Often. Like they don't physically show the act of violence. So when they do, it is actually shocking, which seems surprising considering it's a show about eating people.
Yeah.
But when they do show the violence, it's just like it has such impact because it doesn't happen all that often.
Well, and that's a good. I don't watch the show, but like hearing that, like to me, that's a good thing because there's a lot of other shows that are really like
gratuitous.
Over the top. Yeah.
Just like they use. I think a lot of other shows use violence as sexual violence to cause controversy, to get people interested. And Hannibal doesn't do that. Violence happens, but it's not done for ratings. Like it's done as like part of the art form, and like it's a completely different angle to come at it. Like they don't show people like. They don't show the actual physical act of violence like often. They show it. They show the bodies in an almost like, I'm afraid to say this word because it sounds almost a beautiful way, and that's so messed up, and I'm aware of it, but like it's true. It's art. It's just
I couldn't agree more. So I totally, you know, I want it to be saved, if nothing else, that, you know, we fight for TV. We fight for what we're passionate about at the Geekiary. And Hannibal is truly one of those rare pieces of art that's on the TV.
Hannibal gives us feelings.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Having really lots of feelings.
We really want to save it because it's just, you can tell by the quality of what they put out every week that everyone involved, the cast, crew, writers, visual effects, whatever, they pour themselves into it to make it what it is. So,
and here's a little story I want to kind of tell the people that are watching. Like, to get a Hannibal press conference. I didn't get it, and I was kind of bummed, but you know, that happens. And then this year, I contacted them really early, and I got approved for it. It was like, oh my God, it's amazing. And then the show got the cancellation announcement. And a few days later, I'm at work on my phone, and I'm in our editor's chat room on Facebook, and Erin messages, like, go look at our email account. And I'm like, what? And I open it up, and it's Hannibal press conference canceled. And I'm like on the phone with a customer at the time, like no, and like,
oh, sorry.
Phone call, gotta finish this phone call, like, and then when the phone call ended, I'm just like really furious in the chat room.
You didn't want to believe that the show was
I know.
canceled.
I didn't want to believe that either, because again, that news dropped. Phone with customers at work, and I'm just like, no, like, you got to be wrong. No way, no, like, this can't happening. But a couple days ago, I got an email that the Hannibal press panel was back on, not in the same way that it was before, because originally it was going to be a full hour-long press room with a press line with like cameras and everything. Now they're doing a half-hour press conference. It's going to be over 45 minutes before the last one was going to be over, so it's really truncated and small. But they gave us something, and like, I'm going to be there in my flower crown. I'm going to go to the NBC party afterwards in my flower crown. I mean, the attire that we're getting, I was trying to be secretive about it. Like, Yeah.
I think, I mean, if you've ever been on Tumblr, the flower crown thing is a thing. Like, as soon as you said, oh, we're gonna do something secretive, I was like, flower crown.
But we're also gonna have one more piece of the equation outside the flower crowns, but you'll just have to watch social media to see what that is. But yeah, like, I'm going all the way. I'm all in. Basically, all Saturday is Ballroom 20 and Hannibal for me. Like, that's what I'm doing.
Yes, me too, actually.
All right, guys. I want to talk about
all day together.
I want to talk about Sense8 because we didn't talk about it last time because I wanted to save it for when Angel was here because I know she loves it.
Yay!
This is another show that I'm pretty sure Tara does not watch, which I've just put down hashtag things Tara does not watch, which should be
judging you.
I mean, but hey, give me a break. This is really new, and you got to understand, since it came out, it's been like Ice and Fire Con, Colossal Con, and literally like Ice and Fire Con, which I organized, 2 weeks, Colossal Con, 2 weeks, leaving for Hawaii. So give me a break here.
We'll give you a little break. We got a little time to catch up.
It's really new, and that's like
or something. So
I think it's 12 episodes.
Oh well, I really have no idea. Clearly, I have watched it all.
Well, they go by really fast. Like I watched it in about a day and a half. Like I could not stop watching it. And that's what Netflix does. When Netflix has shows, they try to get shows that you can binge watch like that. And Sense8 is definitely one of those. And one episode leads into the next, and I can't remember episode to episode what happened in the self-contained episode because it's all one continuous story. And I love the way you put it, Vaughn, like where it's an 8-person soulmate AU, like alternate universe. Because that really is what it is. And that's a good way to put it. And not only is it that, and you can relate to it in the fandom culture kind of way, but each of the 8 is really different and unique and represents a really broad spectrum of people. Like, I did a special piece on Nomi, and I had a lot of strong feelings about Nomi, but, I'm a cis person, like a cisgender person, so I wanted to get perspective from the trans community about how they felt. Like, what I'm thinking, like, it doesn't really.
Sorry, for those who don't know, Nomi is a transgender woman.
Yes. So, yes, and I wanted to get their perspective because I don't see that kind of representation often. And you can read that article because I feel like what they have to say about that representation is far more valuable than anything I have to say. But to me, that's a really big deal. And the fact that this show went and did that is just like, done. Like,
I think it's such a lovely show. What I love about it is it starts out and you watch it, and the first couple of episodes are quite slow, and the characters seem very kind of cliche and almost like caricaturish. And you're like, hang on a sec, is this gonna like be really kind of like a white person looking into the lens of diversity? But as the story progresses and as the characters develop, like they become so like well-rounded and wonderful, and by the end, like you're so attached to these characters. And the fact that they managed to attach you to 8 characters like that heavily is crazy.
Well, and even
the short amount of time,
like Amanita, she's super engrossing. And one of my good friends was watching it, and he's not very knowledgeable on the whole trans community, queer community. And so the first couple episodes, he was like, I don't really know if this show is for me. He's like, I'm not.
Was he a bit scared about the lubed up dildo?
Yeah, exactly. The first episode. And he's like, I don't know if I should watch this. And I was like, just keep going. The characters make it. And by the end, he was like, I love that the characters came together and like they each have their own role to play. And, in the end, he was glad he watched it because you get really invested. You totally do get invested in the characters. And
plus, it will make you want to sing What's Up by 4 Non Blondes at karaoke like every single time. Like, I feel like we need to do this at Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah. Maybe we'll Periscope it or something.
Yeah.
Pretty much all I've been doing is Periscoping Quidditch practice. So let's mix it up a bit. Let's do that.
It is a bold show. It is a bold show. It's not for everyone.
Yeah.
At least if you're not super into alternative kind of lifestyles, if that's not if you're not comfortable, it's not for everyone. But it does have enough shock value to where I think that, I mean, in our society, we kind of have to have that shock value to push us forward. It's sad and unfortunate that it has to be that way. But Sense8 is one of those shows that definitely like pushes the boundaries, and I think will open up a lot of minds.
Also, it has the best orgy that has ever happened on television.
Yes, bravo to that orgy.
By the way,
I think
Tara,
the anecdote about your friend. Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, by the way, Tara, there is no rape in this show. It uses sex and sexuality like massively. Does not use rape.
In a positive way.
No, I have no problem with like positive. Trust me, no problem with positive depictions of sex and sexuality. But yeah, it's the
consistent sexual violence.
Yeah, the sexual violence,
which the show does
really
not have.
Me. No, it does not have sexual violence. Like it has a lot of other violence, but no sexual violence.
Like, and that kind of proves that you don't have to have sexual violence to have an edgy show. Because this show is edgy, and there are moments that, like you said, really push boundaries. I'm hearing a little bit of an echo happening. Oh, okay. Anyway, there we go. But like, I kind of like the anecdote about your friend who wasn't into it at first, was kind of afraid of it, but then ended up liking it after sticking with it. And I don't know. I kind of think people should do that. But yeah, I'm still hearing an echo. What's going on?
I don't know.
I think there's a bit of a delay.
Yeah, I don't think it's an echo. I think it's a delay.
Okay.
So is there anything else you want to say on Sense8?
I think I've spilled my feels all over the place.
OTPs from Sense8. Sorry, I just want to know.
I've spilled my feels about Sense8.
Yeah,
I don't watch it, so hey.
I like all of them, so I don't really think there's an OTP. Sorry.
No.
I just love them all.
Oh.
I love them all.
Amanita know me. I think I really like them.
Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to talk about con etiquette since we're going to San Diego Comic-Con, and this is something that I talk to people about a lot and questions that they ask me. And so I had a couple of questions that I wanted to like kind of put to you guys. The first one was like, what should you ask during panels?
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
What should you ask during panels?
Well, I think the question should more be what shouldn't you ask? Because what should you ask could be generally whatever you want, but avoid things that focus on you. Because it's great that you're there. It's great that you love the actors. It's great that you want to hug, but this is not the place for it. Comic-Con is huge. So I would say for what to ask, keep it about who's on stage, keep it about the show, keep it about things that the entire room would be interested in, or like that could dive deeper into something that maybe even the people in the entire room might not be interested in, but could educate everyone. Like, don't focus on you as a fan. That's cool, but these panel rooms are huge, and if everyone asked for a hug, would be there for like months.
Yeah.
I would just say don't be inappropriate. Like, I've Walker StalkerCon in Atlanta last year, there were some pretty inappropriate, like, people who approached the microphone. There was one girl who approached the microphone and was directing her conversation, because it was not a question, at Norman Reedus. Like, basically, like, I won't talk about what she said happened in the past, but she was basically like offering her virginity to him.
God.
Yeah, don't do that.
So
yeah, that
don't
should
do
be
things like that. But you'd be surprised. Like, I think Comic-Con is different though, because it's so like industry focused. Like, people are really I've never. I mean, I can't imagine somebody at Comic-Con stepping up to the plate and asking a question or like saying something.
You
like
might
that.
be surprised. I mean, some people have a bit. I mean, maybe not inappropriate, but like I said, the self-focused things people tend to do quite frequently. In the big rooms like Hall H and Ballroom 20, you have to tell the people your question first, or at least I know that's the case in Hall H, probably Ballroom 22, but I'm not entirely sure. And they have to approve your question before you can step up to the mic. But sometimes people will change their question before they get up there, and like I saw in a Doctor Who panel once that the kid changed his question and they like tried to get him off, and like it wasn't even anything inappropriate. He just made a giant Dalek and wanted them to sign it, and they like tried to like scoot him aside and get him out of the way. And then the cast was like, "No, we'll do it." And it was really nice of them and everything, but like people do try to do things you shouldn't do.
I mean, that's just like common sense. Like, I mean, and I think what I said was common sense too.
You
like, these are the things you don't say or ask. I mean, that's not what they're here for.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Erin, we were talking about this earlier, and Erin had some like interesting ideas about what, like, the kind of specific questions that people might ask that were.
Yeah. Well, in my experience, a lot of people tend to ask the same question. It's worded differently. So it's really, I think it's a good idea to have like a couple of questions in mind, just in case somebody before you asks like the same question or something similar. The big example I have was at the DreamWorks animation panel last year at San Diego Comic-Con. Benedict Cumberbatch showed up, of course, and he was promoting Penguins of Madagascar, which was an animated film. And like question after question after question was just like, what's the biggest difference between voice acting and like live action acting?
Oh.
It's just like the same question like 20 times in a row. And he's just like,
Which to be honest, is like, I feel like people have already answered that 1,000 times.
Yes.
Well, I think people just want a chance to talk to Benedict Cumberbatch,
Well,
which, okay, I understand that. Like, okay, so when I did the Orphan Black Nerd Headquarters panel, I really wanted to talk to anybody on the cast because I was really excited. But I put a lot of thought into my question, and that question kind of exploded online, not to toot my own horn or anything, but like, because it was something that I put a lot of thought into. Like I asked Jordan Cabarrus, like, if he had gotten any feedback from the LGBTQ plus community. And he answered brilliantly. But really, I really just want to talk to the cast. But I didn't just go up there like, so like, how's your experience? Like, how are you having fun? Like, you know, like
even in press like roundtables and stuff like that, I have always had 2 to 3 questions like put together.
Yeah.
This is my number 1. This is my number 2. This is my number 3. Unless I'm doing an interview, you know, an actor, actress, whatever, I always have like 2 to 3 questions available. And it's the same, like I can imagine it would be the same way in a panel because, you know, like there's so many people in these rooms, like you've got to plan on the fact that somebody may ask a question that's close enough to yours that you don't want to ask like that one question. Unfortunately for you, you don't want to. Thankfully, I've never had that happen. I've always been able to use my number 1 questions. I've been super lucky.
oh, F-bomb drop.
Hey, we said it's always me. It's always
The
me.
boss is on this webcast. You're fired. No.
Oh no!
Oh, what?
Did you watch our Sansa?
And now it's just me in Hawaii. No.
Did you watch our Sansa webcast?
I did. It was
worst.
brilliant. It was. But anyway, I just had to point that out. Continue.
no.
So yeah, but yeah, you always want to have 2 or 3 questions available.
Well, and going back to Nerd HQ, another thing that I told Vaughn is I feel like the questions that people ask at Nerd HQ are really good. You know, I think Nerd HQ is like an offsite event that is run by Zach Levi. And he has these conversations for a cause panel, which they hold like 200 people. So they're very, very small, very intimate, and very hard to get into, therefore. But I think that the people that attend those panels like take that experience very seriously, and those panels are all Q&A. So from the audience, and so I found I'm 4 Nerd HQ panels last year. Sorry for shutting other people out, but I enjoyed it. I think that they ask like really, really good questions, and
I agree.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend anyone, even more so than the official panels, go out and watch the Nerd HQ panels if you love a cast or whatever, because those questions are generally great.
Nerd HQ is normally posted online as well.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you can,
And they're streamed live.
Streamed live. Yeah. And we'll be tweeting some of them too. I'll be tweeting Supernatural, and you'll be doing the Marvel one, right?
Yes.
Erin? Yes.
Yes.
And hopefully some others.
We'll see.
We'll know.
I have one piece of advice. We're gonna ask questions at cons, and this is I will say, please write down your question, because I know that everyone thinks that when it happens, they're going to be super cool and remember exactly what they're going to say, and they're not going to rant on and go on and on about how much they love that person or how much person inspired them or whatever. But they will. You're going to write your question down and read it out,
or your mind is going to go completely blank.
Just do that.
Tom Hiddleston.
And you will feel like an idiot afterwards if you don't do this. Just do it. Just write your question down, and don't ask about the desert island. Do not ask what they would bring to a desert island.
Yeah.
Or if it's a Supernatural panel, don't ask what pranks they do, because that happens.
Yes, prank questions. Yeah.
I'm really tired of the prank questions.
Yeah.
So, Jensen and Darren, like, what pranks are that?
Don't ask
like,
the question.
I really love Angel's like impression voice. It's like it's funny.
Okay, so moving on, right?
The fan who doesn't pay attention.
Basically.
So at Comic-Con, it's obviously like a congested mass of fans and celebrities together. So I wanted to ask about like when it's okay to approach a celebrity and when it's not okay, and what you should say and that kind of thing.
I have feelings about this.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay. We talked about this too today, because I've always felt weird that last year I went to a public party that included select members of the Supernatural cast, and I was a little alcohol-induced.
A little alcohol-induced,
yes. And so I was a little beer-muscled, and I just went like straight up to these people and just started talking, and I've always felt kind of weird because I'm like,
And I said
sorry.
that's okay because it's a specific environment where they are there at a public event to meet fans. So that's an okay place where you can go up to celebrities and be like, hey, I'm a big fan. Can I have a photo? Or, can I talk to you for a minute? That is the right environment to do that.
I talked to
I agree entirely.
writing TV shows, so yes.
Oh, that's amazing. But yeah, I agree entirely. And I had a similar experience at the end where they had and I talked with Brian Fuller for like at least 4 or 5 minutes, like solid, and it was the most amazing experience of my life. And we were both drinking drinks to the root, cannibal thing, and like chatting and having a good time. And I wouldn't have had that strength if I hadn't had a couple drinks with me. But I didn't feel like it was an invasion because that was what the party was there for, and it was amazing.
I would say like the normal things that I don't know. I think these are normal things where you would not approach a celebrity in these situations, but a lot of people don't. I was at breakfast last year at this really awesome restaurant in the Gaslamp district. I'm not going to say which one because a lot of celebrities go there, which I didn't know at the time. But like I walked by the guy who plays the kid, I guess, who plays Bran Stark on Game of Thrones. Isaac Hayes, I think is his name. And I walked right by him on my way to the bathroom. And I was like, walked to the bathroom, came back, kind of looked around breakfast with his family. Like you don't approach a celebrity when they're eating a meal.
Completely
period
situation. Yeah.
Period. And I think another time I was waiting outside of a party because a friend was trying to get me in, and Norman Reedus and Glenn. Who plays Glenn? What's his name? Glenn on Walking Dead. I not remember his name.
His name in my mind too, and I feel really bad because Glenn's my favorite character.
I love Glenn so much. Steven Yeun, thank you, Steven Yeun. So Steven Yeun and Norman Reedus like pile out of this limo, and like they are chatting with each other, and Steven Yeun is like getting back in the limo to go back to his hotel or whatever, and Norman's like, yep, I'm going to the party. And like these people kind of, I was literally standing like 5 feet from them, and these people stopped and asked for a picture, and Norman was like, dude, I'm trying to get into this party, like leave me alone. Like, so like if they are clearly going somewhere, or if they're eating, that's like an absolute no-no. And people, you'd think that people would understand it, but they really don't.
Have an additional comment on that, because there's one hotel, and I'm not going to say which one, because like you, like I don't want people to start flocking there to see them, but there's one celebrity where the one hotel where a lot of celebrities are, and in the lobby there are autograph hunters, and what they do is they show up with a giant crate filled with pictures and wait for the celebrities to come through, and they have people at the doors of the hotel to like text them and tell them which celebrities are coming, and then they go through the crate, find the picture, and then run up to the celebrity and get the autograph, and then sell them online. And what was going on is that I was doing a press panel shortly, and I decided to chill in the lobby for like 30 minutes, and I just happened to sit down next to these guys. And it was kind of a weird thing to watch happen, because like these aren't really, they might be fans, but these are people that are like just there to slow celebrities down from going and doing their thing and getting autographs to sell online and make money. And it's like, this is the place where the press panels happen. So they're clearly going to do work, and it's like, let them through. Like they have an appointment, but no, they stop and slow everybody down.
It's situations, sorry.
Yeah, no, you go.
It's situations like that, you know, give like fans a bad name, because you know, the real fans usually either are one, too scared to approach whoever they want to approach, or two, like they respect them and literally just want to be like, hey, you're amazing, see ya, you know?
Yeah.
But it's the people that are trying to make a buck or whatever.
I'm going to add something that I feel like should be common sense, but is not, because it happens way too often. Do not approach a celebrity in the bathroom.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Like that didn't even cross my match.
Do people really do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Now that she said it, I'm sure they do.
Oh God, please don't do that.
I do have a confession.
Yeah.
No, I did not approach someone in the bathroom, but at this party where I met supernatural people last year, I did accidentally, unintentionally follow Elena Huffman into the bathroom.
But you didn't like ask her to autograph like a toilet paper roll or something.
No.
Okay.
I talked to her, and like I accidentally followed her, and I felt like she thought I was maybe following her, but I totally was not. I just really had to go to the bathroom because I had like
Elena Huffman. If you're listening, that was not intentional. Do not judge Erin. She just had to use the restroom.
You had to like let go of some of that like courage juice that got her to talk to you.
I mean, since we're talking, this is kind of fun talking about experiences, but last year I room with the same girl every year. She and I get along great, and last year she and I went out to dinner, like late dinner at this, I don't even remember, some Italian restaurant, and Colton Haynes came in, and he sat like behind us, like away from me, so I couldn't see him, and I don't watch like anything that he's in. I'm not a fan, sorry. But my roommate was sitting across from me, and she had full view of him, and she's like, I think this is Colton Haynes. He's sitting behind you. And, but yeah, it's totally, you can kind of look and maybe gawk a little, but don't approach them. Especially like in a restaurant situation, it's just not, no. Mm-mm.
So I think the rule here is like
Eating.
Food, bathroom, and when they're clearly going somewhere, leave them alone.
Yeah.
Bar,
yeah,
seems pretty
bar, like fan event, if they're
if they're likely working,
Yeah.
then that's, yeah. If they're clearly like on their personal time or like doing bodily functions,
if they're just fighting for survival,
They need to fill themselves up and
exactly.
You know, remember that they're people. This seems like a really obvious thing, but people seem to, like, the moment they're celebrities,
really?
just forget.
Yeah.
Okay, so the final question I have is, like, the biggest question that I get asked all the time is it okay to talk about shipping and or fandom activities to celebrities?
Oh, I have so many feelings on that. Okay. I used to be one of the people that thought, no, keep shipping and fandom, but my view has kind of changed a lot lately because I feel like there's a line between what kind of shipping is okay to talk about and what isn't. And that line is very filled with problems. Like, just pick a random show. Like, you want to put this guy and this girl together, you want to ship them, it's perfectly okay to talk about it. No one gives you any guff. You talk about these two guys you want to put together, suddenly it's like, no, off limits, let's not mention it to the celebrities, it'll make them uncomfortable. So my view has kind of changed lately. Like, I used to be on that side of the fence, now I'm like, but why is there a line? Like, why is there that line there? Like, I don't know. I don't understand it. Well, I do, but I just don't like saying it.
I mean, it comes down to comfort, you know, like some celebrities, actors, actresses, I won't say celebrities as a general term, but like actors sometimes don't feel comfortable crossing those lines, you know, but they don't speak on behalf of the character. The writers do.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
So, you know, it's a tough one.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
It's really complicated.
I think a lot of it is like, it's really questions for the writers, not for the actors, because they, I mean, or the writers and or directors maybe, but like the actors, I mean, they do what they are told. No matter how good they are at it, they're speaking the words that are written by somebody else, and they are being directed to act a certain way most of the time. Like, maybe not all the time, but most of the time. And if they're not being directed, they're certainly being, if they do act a certain way, it's being approved by somebody else before it's being put on air. So for me, like, I'm kind of the mind of like, you just never know what a person is comfortable with. And you have to remember that no matter whether or not these people are public personas, they're still people. And like, they may not be comfortable with like the extents that fandoms go to a lot of the time.
And I agree with that maybe the actors aren't the ones that will have answers for this. And I guess my problem mainly is with fan reaction to it. Like, where when heterosexual pairings are asked of the actors, people are like, wow, that's so great. And then when slash ships are asked, like, fandoms like, no, you're making them uncomfortable. But it is a good point that they are actors, they're not doing it. But shouldn't that be a blanket statement for all of it? I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
that's how I feel.
I am of the opinion that as long as you are thoughtful within your question, and your question is like either about like character motivation or like specifically the way that they performed it, then you can ask about whatever you want, because that is directed to the actor, right? As long as you direct the question to the person. Like, if you're like, hey, I was wondering if you like performed the scenes between you and that other character in a specific way, or if that like was interpreted differently or things like that, you know,
I think my thing is, I completely agree with that. My thing with it is it becomes problematic because honestly, at times fandom acts like seriously entitled. Sorry.
I agree. I think they do.
They do.
To a certain extent, and I agree with that.
And I'm not talking about like people who are I'm talking about everybody. Like, whether you are shipping a legit pairing or whether you are shipping a slash pairing, like it's like everybody, and they all fight with each other, and it's kind of, I don't know. I'm with Erin. I stay out of it.
Yeah,
for the most part,
I think the concern comes though with why is heterosexual deemed legit and / considered not legit? Like what?
Oh, but
like,
that's what I'm saying. They all can be assholes.
Yeah. So maybe it's just like it should all be off limits, or it should all be on the table. One or the other. It shouldn't.
Or they should all just learn to get along.
Well, yeah, I know.
Well,
but
yeah,
I mean,
that's a completely different question. Everyone should learn to get along 100%.
Wouldn't that be great?
Well, it's all interpreted.
Yeah.
I don't. You know what I mean. Sorry. It's all. We all have our own interpretations of this media that we consume, and a different writer of a different episode can interpret something differently. A different director, a different actor, a different consumer. We all interpret it differently. And to say that another person interpreting the same thing is wrong is just it doesn't make sense, because we all interpret it differently based on our own experiences and how we live. And so, that's
exactly how I feel. I mean, I think that if you're going to ask about interpretation, whether it's about shipping or any other aspect of the thing, then you have to be prepared that that actor or writer is going to say that they interpret it differently. Right?
Yeah.
And you have to be able to react to that rationally. If you cannot react to the way that they answer the question, and I think that they should be able to answer the question like rationally and just say, no, this is specifically what we're at the moment, what we're heading towards, what we're doing, or this is what we meant by that scene. But if you cannot accept what they're going to say or what their interpretation is, then you shouldn't ask the question.
Well, and it's fluid, like you were kind of going on to. I mean, if you think about relationships in real life, one event or one argument or one conversation can change an entire dynamic of a relationship. And the same thing goes with a relationship on screen. One scene can affect the whole fluidity of a relationship. And so it just, I don't know. It's all fluid. It's all an interpretation. So I think it's interesting to ask questions about it. I totally agree with Angel on this one. I think it's, you shouldn't be afraid to ask the questions that you want, because it's all subjective.
And if it's something that you care about, then ask the question. Just, make sure
I'm
your
not saying like censor yourself or whatever, but just be mindful of what you're asking.
Make sure your
and
question
who
is
you're
correct.
asking it from.
Make sure you it's
question
something
down, like we said earlier. Make sure it's worded well, and don't just be like,
well, write it down and honestly ask it of yourself. Would you be comfortable being asked this question? If you feel uncomfortable with it, then don't
ask that question. Or write it down.
Or ask it of like your best friend.
Yeah.
If you think this is a-okay, maybe get one more opinion and say like, hey, BFF or significant other, like, I'm going to ask you this question. Would you be comfortable answering it?
Yeah.
Like, get a second opinion, because like I think people should be mindful of what they're asking and who they're asking it of, because I've heard people say some really weird things like from to actors and everything. So
I saw some people asking some really weird things on Twitter today, because someone was going to cover a press panel at San Diego Comic-Con, and they're like, what kind of questions should we ask? And some of the questions they got about some of the shipping things, it was just like that. Ooh, like think about how you're wording that. Like, I don't know. But anyway,
if you would not ask your parents the question, then probably don't ask it.
There you go.
Well, I don't know. It depends on your parents.
Yeah, it does.
Like,
you would not ask.
There are a lot of things I would not ever ask my parents. Super conservative. I am not. Let me clarify that.
We're kind of running low on time, so I just want to see what upcoming events is happening.
Time goes so fast.
I know.
So many things. Well, first of all, the one that we all know about is San Diego Comic-Con, and we're going to do like I mentioned at the beginning of the webcast, we're going to be doing a special webcast on Wednesday, which is preview night at 5 p.m. Do we have a venue for that?
Not
or are
yet.
we just doing it in a hotel room? Okay, we're going to try to get an awesome venue.
Room, but we will have a look around when we get there.
Yeah.
And,
if you
I've
guys,
been inquiring.
if you guys have
Yeah,
good suggestions,
it's hard. It's hard to get these places in San Diego to contact you back, especially when it's about stuff to do during Comic-Con.
yeah. So
and I think we're also going to do one on Sunday. We just haven't decided on a time still.
yeah.
So it's either going to be, I think the two times we were considering were like 4 p.m. Pacific or like 9 p.m. Pacific.
Which is really late, but it gets recorded and we'll post it up later anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's basically, I think we'll know a little bit more like by Wednesday. But before we air on Wednesday, we'll know because I'm pretty much just waiting on what my schedule is going to be for Comic-Con. And then once I know what my like press schedule is, 4 p.m. is like the time I'm gaming for because there's not much going on like later in the afternoon. So we'll see.
I'm going to an event at, I believe it starts at 5. Erin, you're going to that too.
It's at 6.
It's at 6?
You're
Well,
talking
cool.
about
What thing?
The swag.
On Sunday. Yeah.
The thing.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's at 6. It's at 6. So
Yeah.
I wasn't.
that's why we chose.
Yeah, then that will probably work out well. It's about Comic-Con before we move on to the next thing I have down. Okay. So oh yeah.
No, you go. I haven't got anything to say.
Okay. So I just couldn't have it yet, but I got a press badge for Honolulu Comic-Con. And that is going to be 2 weeks after San Diego Comic-Con. It's the first year for Honolulu Comic-Con. It's never happened before. It was originally called HokuCon. So if anyone who's watching was actually going to go to HokuCon, it has a new name. And it's a pretty small convention, yet for the first year, we managed to get Edward James Olmos.
Yeah.
Which is pretty amazing. So he might have just wanted a free trip to Hawaii. I don't know. But the point is, he's coming to our convention.
That's what I want.
I don't know why everyone can go to Honolulu Con.
I know.
Right? Like, let's get everyone.
It's the same thing.
We have another convention coming up in August that none of us will be at, but we are going to have a representative going to be there. DestialCon. We had a friend of mine went for us last year. It takes place in Ohio, and she went there last year and wrote up a post about the premier convention for that. Destial, for those who don't know, is the shipping name for Dean and Castiel from Supernatural, and there's an entire convention about this ship, which is pretty cool. And
Cara, by the way, that's like not Dean.
I was literally thinking in my head, don't think Dean from Gilmore Girls.
Dean.
Castiel, not Castiel.
Castiel. Yeah, Castiel.
Oh, yeah, Castiel, not Castile. Sorry.
But we actually got an email invite from them to invite us back to the con. So I got in touch with Mina, and she's going to go for us again. So she's going to be a representative there, and we're trying to set up some interviews with some big-time fan fiction writers from the fandom, and we'll let you know how that goes. So I'm looking forward to that. Anyone else have any conventions in July or August?
To be honest, I don't know about anything that is happening after Comic-Con.
Seriously, people keep asking me to try to like plan things for later this year, and I'm like, I cannot get past the 2 weeks that I'm spending in Hawaii and then like the 5 days in San Diego. Like
when I get back from Comic-Con, I will have more to say about what happens after Comic-Con.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, then, if no one has any more conventions, I have one more event to mention. Yeah. And it's not a convention, but it's a big thing anyway. Gishwesh. So, for those of you who don't know, it's the greatest international scavenger hunt the world has ever seen. It's a scavenger hunt hosted by Misha Collins, who plays Castiel on Supernatural. And I have been on one of the top 10 teams 3 years in a row. I'm very proud of that because there's like hundreds of teams that do it every year. So, pretty proud of that. Team Subtext, woo! And that's happening from August 1st to 8th. So anyone that's following me on Twitter or Facebook or anything like that, I might ask you guys to help me with some really weird stuff the first week of August. You guys, all of you guys right here.
I paid attention last year, but I had no idea.
So that's happening. And I got to interview last year's winners.
I did it last year, and I failed miserably.
But did you have fun is the important question.
I did the first couple of years, and it was really fun. It was great fun. I just haven't had the time, since then. But anyone who has time should definitely do it. It's super fun.
It is. It is. It does a lot of good. It's a lot of fun. And last year I got to interview the winners from last year's event, talk to them about their experience and everything. And hopefully this year I will be the winner. Yeah. But anyway, we'll see how that goes.
All right, guys. That is it. Unless anyone has anything else they want to add.
Good to go.
We'll be back in like 2 days.
So it's
three. I think we've got 3. We got
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
They're like,
oh God, we're starting to echo each other.
We've been together too long.
We've been together for like 4 days straight.
so weird. That was creepy. Like that was like horror movie twins creepy.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, I am Con. This is Erin, and that is the collective existence that is Tara and Angel.
Hello.
We're a ship.
Thank you
just
for
haven't
joining
come up with the name yet.
Thank you for joining us on Feelings with the Geekiary. And we'd like to remind you that we're a free webcast run off donations from viewers like you. So we'd like to thank you for contributing to our host site, the Geekiary, and we will see you in 3 days, 1, 2, 3, at Comic-Con in San Diego. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.